we talk about, like Jackie, you said the balance and the middle ground. Everybody talks about balance, but nobody knows what that is. And I think the balance isn't more therapy. I don't think the balance is more books. I think the balance is have some fucking fun.
Welcome to the full mom tea. You know it's hard out here being moms. We always seem to get the job done. What? Moms, they run the world. Moms, they run the world.
Oh, hi, Jackie.
Hi, Vonia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Full Mom Tea.
A podcast about motherhood.
Yeah.
Raw, unfiltered.
Parenting.
Pants
down.
Pants down.
I don't know. Some are.
Oh my gosh. Can I tell a quick story?
Yeah.
Quick about I just was with Aria, my 4-year-old. She was so excited. She did a gymnastic class by herself.
Oh.
And at Hugo's, and there's like a bleachers, and you can like watch all your kids do the things.
Yes.
And I was in front of the bleachers, and she was coming out of her class so proud. She came up, jumped, gave me a big hug, and like I don't know if you remember your littles doing this, but like she did the like toddler melt, like so she sunk down on me and took my pants off. She pantsed me. And I had a cheek out, and I think
parents are like,
and some like I think some front part, and I don't. It's hard for me to be embarrassed.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't, and I couldn't like look people in the eye, and I saw people going like doing that, oh my god, we got to pretend we didn't see it, but like we just saw that lady's like junk, and so I was because it was these pants, and I usually they're soft and swishy. So I usually wear like leggings and stuff where like they can like crawl on me like monkeys, but this was so anyway. That's how my summer's going. How are you?
Because you talked about being embarrassed, good. I had the most embarrassing moment of my life, probably, I think. So I'm in healing mode of a hamstring tear because the day after school finished, I was at a party, and another mom and I, who I love this woman, by the way, I want to have her on the podcast. She's amazing.
Great.
She's like, let's go down together to the slip and slide. And I'm like, yeah, we're hardcore. I'm fun. And I'm also a person where I'm like, I'm a cool mom. So we both launch and
into the slip and slide.
Yes. So I'm like, there's not enough lawn to launch, so I'm like, I need a little bit more I need a few more steps to really get my big booty on the slide. Well, as I stepped on the slip and slide, my front right leg went out. I did the splits. I cannot do the splits. I heard or felt a pop, something give away. I laid there and I was like, I called for my husband because I felt like I was gonna barf. It was like that pain that you want to barf. I was scared. I started to have a panic attack. I'm like, we have to go right now. And he's like, no, it was an adult party too, which is kind of funny. And I had a Jello shot, and I'm very embarrassed for that too.
But you're trying to probably play it off.
I'm trying to play it off, and so people are doing things because there was a professional photographer there. There's videos, and I'm wearing I'll find the video. The video is actually not as exciting because I basically just go down, and she tries to slide down, and then she crawls the rest. I mean, she's cute about it and doesn't know anything's wrong with me. And luckily, she went off because she was hosting the party. It was her husband's 40th birthday, and we were all wearing these like ugly Borat swimsuits, so it looked like we had the Borat swimsuit on, but it was hairy. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Anyway,
amazing.
So add insult to injury, I just was trying to be funny and fun, and I hurt myself. And then we did sneak out, but Adam's like, I have to pee, and I'm like, so I'm in there just like holding on for dear life. That I'm like starting to panic because I'm like, I think I'm gonna die. Like I thought. Anyways, so we got home. I wrapped it really tight, but I will share the black and blue of my thing. I thought it was fine. A couple weeks later, it fell again, and then I was like, I went to urgent care, and they didn't say much. But then I went to an orthopedic specialist, and it turns out after they did the not MRI, but the thing where they look inside, ultrasound, he's like, yeah, you tore your hamstring right at my butt and my booty. But yeah, so my ego has had a little took a hit. And it is also very hard for me to get embarrassed. And I was so embarrassed. But you know what? Now, because I am feeling a lot better, I'm starting PT. And once I'm fully back, then I'm gonna laugh really hard about it.
Okay. Yeah,
So
it's a little too soon.
But without further ado, we have a wonderful guest today. She is kind of famous. Famous to me.
Yeah, in the parent space.
When my daughter was a baby, her book, somebody gave me, I think it was my friend Ashley LaFawn, and the book is called Oh Crap, Potty Training by Jamie Glowacki, and it's written really funny. It's she's a hoot. I cannot wait for you guys to listen to this episode or to this interview with her. So
all right, without further ado,
thank
Jamie.
you. Jamie, hello.
All right. Oh man, I'm so excited for our guest today.
I know.
We've got Jamie Glowacki from Oh Crap.
Yes. I know.
Oh Crap Potty Training book and Oh Crap I Have a Toddler.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've been following you for a long time. Big fan.
Same.
Thanks.
Yeah. Used it with both my kids.
Absolutely. Me too. I have a 12-year-old and a 8-year-old, and I used it for both of them as well.
She's still training.
Yeah, my 8-year-old, dear God, help. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's wild. Like when I first started, I had kind of a range of like super fans, you know. And,
I'm definitely in that. Like,
and then like we were friends on Facebook and stuff, and I see their kids and they're like graduating high school, and I'm like, well, that tracks. You know, my son's 20, so it was wild to see your first round of people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's crazy. So anyway, we're excited to have you on, and thanks for making the time.
Yeah.
We could just kind of jump right in.
Right. Because I think, I'm not sure if everyone has heard of you, and they should if they haven't, especially if they have children or babies or trying to potty train. But you were truly like a savior in my life in terms of potty training, especially for my daughter. And I had to go back to work early-ish, and there was all kinds of things that we needed to happen, and it was the structure that I needed. So I guess maybe if you don't mind introducing yourself and sort of what your vibe is about for all of the potty training.
So I'm the author of Oh Crap Potty Training and Oh Crap I Have a Toddler. Oh Crap Potty Training was first published in 2014, and it was written in 2009. I sold it as a PDF off my website before there were e-readers. So a lot of people don't realize how fast technology has moved. And in 2024, I got a book deal to write the 10th anniversary of the Oh Crap. And that was awesome because the book was a little outdated. When you write a book, you don't realize things that you think are going to be forever, right? I don't have a business page on Facebook anymore. So with the rewrite, I just wrote social media because who knows what's going to be around.
Right.
And when I originally wrote the book, dads occasionally helped with their children.
Right.
And no dads wanted to read the book. They asked for a cheat sheet. So I put all these things in, but now people pick up the book in this day and age, and I get death threats in the email. People are like, it's not 1950. Dads are taking active part. And I'm like, well, here's your freaking gold star.
Yeah.
But they haven't historically. So anyway, it was really nice too because I got to do a chapter on neurodivergent was not a word when
fun.
Oh Crap was written. And so a lot of things changed. And it was translated into 16 languages, and then Simon & Schuster, I've made them a lot of money. And so they were like, hey, you have another book in you. And I wanted to write a homeschool book, but the editor that I was working with, her parents were both New York City teachers in public school, and we butted heads right away. I could tell she hated homeschooling, so I was like, well, I know a lot about toddler behavior, so I wrote Oh Crap, I Have a Toddler. Yeah. So, but more recently, I want to say it was definitely a little before the pandemic, but the pandemic really nailed this down, is I was finding in my work with potty training that parents just didn't have time or patience or distress tolerance, frustration tolerance. And I mean, potty training is a learning curve. It's a process. And I was getting people like, I've been potty training for 3 hours. They're not getting it. I was like, holy shit, what is happening? And it's just gotten so intense, and people really have not busyness and overscheduled. And I got 3-year-olds so overscheduled they can't potty train. And so
Yeah.
I really started to dive down that rabbit hole of what is happening, because the nuts and bolts of parenting haven't changed that much, you know? And so why are people so overwhelmed? And everybody says, because we have to work. I've always been a single mom, so don't come at me that you had to work, because like I've always had to work since I was 14. And so I think I've really been exploring that, and I've really come down. I actually have another book proposal in regarding this, and just trying to figure out how moms are so tired, they can't hold a boundary, can't find time to potty train. And I really think we're all just taking the job too seriously.
Yeah.
Like, we got to come back to, you know, I think the whole 90s mom nostalgia that's going on right now on social media is, I think it's pre-internet, pre-social media, when we didn't parent as a verb with a capital P.
Right.
We just were a parent. Our kids were our kids. We weren't their playmate. We didn't entertain and stimulate them and educate them and have to fill every moment. And so, that's where my work's drifted now, because I'm like, motherhood shouldn't be this hard. It's hard. It's taxing. We lose sleep the first year, all of us, you know, but it's gone overboard. So that's why.
And the like perfection parenting, which is what I think you mean by parenting with a capital P, like it's just like this perfectionism of having to be some version of yourself that you see on Instagram or something.
I think it's twofold. I think, you know, at its heart, it's parents trying to do better than they were parented.
Yeah.
And I think we have a wide spectrum of people who were highly abused, physically abused, mentally abused, you know, no contact with their parents, down to, I was just telling somebody, I have families that the mom is like still heartbroken that her parents perpetuated the myth of Santa Claus and her parents lied to her. So like we have this like range of like trauma, right? And so I think everybody's really trying to do better, but we overshot. And now when that happened, it simultaneously happened as social media kicked in. And now you have compare and despair, and people will say, we logically know that we're comparing or we're not comparing, but our brain is always tracking. So even in a 5-minute scroll, like right now you're tracking my background, you're tracking my outfit, you're tracking how I speak, right? And we're gonna compare, like, oh my God, they have better microphones.
Nature.
Oh shit, they have headphones. They have nice headphones. I just have these, right? And so we're always trying to see how we fit on the social hierarchy. And as moms, we're so vulnerable in those first 2 years, because let's face it, we're parents, but our kids, and people be like, oh my God, I love my kids so much. They're so uninteresting at that point, because all they do is scream, right? Like they don't have their full personality yet. And so like you're drowning. This is where mommy wine culture comes in, because like you're lonely. You're not actually stimulated intellectually. I mean, we all love our kids to the moon and back, but
no, it's isolating.
Right, and so you're more susceptible to social media, and now you're getting 1,000 voices in your head, and you're trying to do better, but we know now, thanks to Jonathan Haidt's work, short-form vertical content is so destroying to our brains, because it doesn't store, if you're scrolling, you're storing nothing in long-term memory, nothing. So your best thing, if you want to get parenting stuff off of Instagram, go on for 5 minutes and then go for a walk. Let some of those tips and tricks settle. But people are just getting so much information. So here we are, we're trying to do better than we were parenting. And our parents had no information, none. Now we have all the information in the world coming at us. And so now it's just muddying the water. So it's like finding that middle ground, really.
Yes, I think finding the middle ground for me is what's resonating a lot with your content specifically as well. Because like I had my first baby and COVID hit, like you know, during, I mean, I had the baby and then everything shut down, so I was very isolated anyway with motherhood, but then with the world, and so my attention went to my phone a lot, and that's where I think a lot of like mom influencers and things like everyone had a little more time in a way, because they were home and they were making a lot of content. And, you know, you're as a first-time mom, like you said, you're really vulnerable. You're really susceptible to, like, everything. And you're hyper aware of your baby and, like, not hurting it or, you know, keeping it alive and then not fucking it up. And so, I was so overstimulated by the information. I had postpartum anxiety and depression. And I also I felt like I was fucking up all the time, and that I should be doing something else, or what this other person online was doing. And to your point, you're always comparing, but I think like the conflicting information too for me was just information overload, or it was so extreme. It was like either sleep with your newborn and have all of your children in your bed suckling from all your orifices, or dump your baby in the room and close the door and leave. Anyway.
I also feel like
wait, we need to stop for 1 second, and I want your audience to hear this so loud and clear. Like, I could almost cry right now for you. I am so sorry, because your view of motherhood was skewed during COVID, and that has such reverberations that we are still not going to grapple with. And so that is key. Like, if you had your baby in 2020, it's different. It's different. And the kids now, after 2020, I've been doing this work for 25 years. After 2020, kids are born with fight, flight, or freeze, because COVID, 2016 election got us polarized on social media. Then the COVID, how that played out, polarized us more. And now I think all the kids post-pandemic are built different. They have more sensory issues. They fall right under a diagnosis, so you can't get services. They look a little spicier. But I'm convinced that they're born into a more anxious. I mean, we're all freaking anxious right now, right? Like, what the hell? Like, So these kids are built different, and I need you to know that you have a different view of motherhood because of how, like you said, we were already isolated. We don't have villages anymore. Now we were literally isolated, and fear. I mean, that March when we locked down. What the hell? We didn't know if was 50% of the population going to die. Then more information came out, and people coped with it differently. But it was really tragic. And I think what you're saying, Jackie, is really important because, number one, you have to remember with social media, strong opinions hook. It's an attention economy, and I try really hard not to do clickbaity things. I really try hard to do my reels in one take, so you hear me stumbling. I don't try to edit out, And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, like, sometimes I make a mistake. I cough. I stumble over words. I'm human, and I'm trying. I try to do that because I don't need your nervous system more jacked up. Like, and so mothers, you got to understand that those things hook you. So of course somebody's gonna say, oh my God, if you sleep train, you're gonna kill your baby. They're gonna go no contact with you when they're 17 because like they put the fear of God in you because it sells. It gets you. And so you have to remember that. And there is no magic code. Let's be really clear at the beginning of this conversation.
Say it again.
You're gonna fuck up your kids.
Yes.
We all are gonna fuck up our kids in some way, shape, or form. But I feel like people have, those master locks for your locker where there's like 4 numbers you gotta line up. I feel like people just keep spinning those locks in their head thinking that they're going to land on the magic number that's going to turn out a well-adjusted, healthy kid. And no, shit goes sideways. You could do everything right and your kid's still going to, I don't know, they're going to go sideways.
One thing I wanted to, and this kind of applies to both, but it's the ignoring your natural instinct a little bit is from with all the noise. And that's I'm mad at myself a little bit because I'm like, God, my instinct was to just hold the baby or to not put them in timeout or whatever. I don't even know. I'm not making a real example here, but like I do feel like your books give you a little bit of like just like watch, you're watching your child and really just like being in present moment and like reacting because I was trying to do everything so right, especially with my first one, just being basically I was trying to get the locks on. I was trying to get those perfect for, and because in my life before when I was working, I was doing everything right. And then you have a kid and there is no control. And then you don't know how to slow down and say, okay, I'm gonna react in a real I'm responding in a real way and honoring an instinct that's deep in me, so that's my
you just said a
contribution to
lot.
that.
I wrote down some things, but instinct, yes, and I want to point out that things have so drastically changed. So I'm 57. My mom would have been 79. She passed in 2024, but in just that time, we have to remember my mother was married at 18, had 3 kids under the age of 5. By 23, had her own house, married to a highly abusive man. Like, women didn't go to college. They went to college, but it was rare, and most women went to college to find a man. Right. Then I'm Gen X. We were expected to go to college. Now we have women that, like, you have a career, right? And what do women do when they don't know what to do? They think they can outwork it. That's a woman tendency. I actually am an archer and I teach women archery. And the number one problem is that they grip the bow too tight because we're gonna get it.
That's
we're
so
gonna,
funny.
We're gonna land the target. And so women listen to more podcasts and read more books and more Instagram because we think we can outwork it. And what you said was so true, is like if we can just be present, we just don't know how to do that, right? Because we're not working the problem. And when we say instinct, what I've seen, social media for sure has screwed up our intuition. I just did a post this morning about we've outsourced everything to experts. And instead, we're constantly looking for somebody to give us the right answer when we hold the magic. But I think what is really important to talk about is that mostly some of our instinct is wrong because we're parenting in opposition of our wounds. So, like, it might not have, like, maybe a timeout felt shitty to you because your parents were overbearing and authoritarian. So now a timeout feels awful to you, or holding a boundary feels awful to you. So sometimes our instinct is right, and you want to play with that. But sometimes we have to really look at are we parenting from a wounded place? Because that's what I see a lot more of right now.
Okay, write that book, please.
Like
I need that.
Mom, I see this play out because when I talk about the 90s mom nostalgia, that I love this thing that's going on right now on social media because I think there's some real meat under it. It's not just about recreating the 90s. I think we're longing for a different time. But I feel like parents, I see this all the time in my comments. Well, my mother never played with me, so I'm always going to play with my kid. And I was like, but that's not the answer. And I literally have this is like a picture cutter, but I'm like, here's your parenting, here's your parents. Like, you're here. You're here, okay? Like, you have a long way to go before spanking and grounding. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a bigger issue and I always say, listen, if you have a sore point, you know where your personal work lies when you are reactive to your children. There's something in that for you. And so, because a lot of people, here's the deal. I was a disaster in my 20s. I got all my therapy early before I had a kid. I had Pascal when I was 38. But a lot of us don't either do our therapy, or you don't even know you have a wound till you see your kid. And what I'm seeing right now is a dynamic that is really hard for moms because they have issues with their parents, but they're still in contact and they're working on the relationship. But now they can overtly see that they're trying to do something different with their kid. And so they kind of get mad at their kid because they're like, you have no idea. I'm doing you such a favor by letting you have your feelings. But it's like, it's a really big problem because now they have to turn around, and your mother at 78 is not changing. She's not changing. So now you got to like parent your parent in a way that is better than they parented you, because you got your 4-year-old right in front of you and you're like, what the hell is happening?
But that middle ground is something I think we should strive to, and maybe we already do, but strive towards more. And like, I'm pretty sure we've both been in therapy. I was in therapy a lot. Like,
I know my wounds. Also, as an actor, I feel like you have to really, go inside yourself to understand every facet.
And I mean, my mom, there's like mental health in our family, and I wanted to prep myself as much as I could, but is
there mental health or is there mental disorders?
Disorder. So healthy.
Because I was like, you a lucky one? You had some mental health?
Oh no. And so it's mental health disorders, and so I'm like, I want to be on top of it, but at the same time, you can't predict what is going to come. So there are new things that I'm realizing in myself, but I feel like personally I've gotten to a better place of like trusting myself, and some of that comes with, as you get older, you have the second kid, you're less like of a spaz.
By the time you get it right, they're moving out of your house.
So it's still not right, but it does feel better. But something I wanted to talk with you about, and I mentioned the therapy because, I work really hard in therapy. I am medicated, and not to brag, but I know you are too. So it's like, okay, so we're doing the best we can, right? And this word of regulation, right? I am just telling you. I'm just telling you right now, it's making me twitch because I understand the importance of it. You need to be regulated before your kid is. You need to be this, but again, it feels a little bit like I'm doing the best I can to be regulated, but stop telling me I'm so dysregulated that I can't be a mom, but because I'm in a mom and I'm doing a fucking hell of a lot better than my parents, who were swinging all over the place with their they didn't even know what that was. You know what I mean? So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Okay.
There are no tools.
I did a reel about this, and I can't say I'm a nervous system expert, but I work with high emotions because I work with moms and kids.
Yeah.
And I say nervous systems are having a protein moment right now. It's like all you're fucking hearing about is regulated.
Yes.
And so the internet does what the internet does, which is now we have fucking protein in McDonald's French fries, right? So regulation became the word, and it was synonymous with stay calm, and it's not. A regulated nervous system moves in and out of dysregulation quickly. Dysregulation is part of being regulated. Now, first of all, none of us, let's take regulation out of, regulation is only a ping. It's the state after dysregulated. That's all. We don't all walk around regulated.
That's what I'm saying.
We're doing dishes. Like you're just an empty headspace sometimes. Like you're just fucking existing, and then your toddler throws a fucking Matchbox car at your head. Yeah. Now all of a sudden you're supposed to be regulated.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you for that. I love it. Regulation is expressing appropriate emotion. Okay, so here's a perfect example. I am singing The Sound of Music in my car. The hills are alive. You motherfucker, you can't use a directional. Yeah.
With the sound of music. What did I just do? I had an appropriate reaction because somebody almost caused me to get into an accident.
Yeah.
I don't have road rage. I yelled at the person and I went right back to Julie Andrews because that is an example, right? Now, that's how you want to move through, and we all do that, I think, in the car. Now, what would be bad if I have a gun in my car and I get out and shoot that person, right? That's where you're constantly dysregulated. Now, with moms, if your kid throws something, your kid, especially toddlers, because they're so unpredictable, they're so volatile, their mood will change in a second, right? Yeah. And so you perceive it as a threat. And so instantly you now are fight, flight, or freeze. Yeah. And so that's where, like, I say the best skill you can have is just learn to pause. If you can learn to pause in that second. I have always said, it's a thermometer for me. And the faster that thermometer heats up to my face, the more it's likely a wound. The more, but if it gets to about here, it's in the moment. It's in the moment, and there's something that I'm reacting to. Yeah. And so if you can pause, or like say you get a really shitty comment on Instagram or something, and you're like, I'm gonna reply now. Step away from the phone for a minute, just get your thoughts together. So I just like that pause, because that pause gives you a second so that you don't say catastrophic things. The only problem with dysregulation in moms is we can sometimes, a lot of us have built up resentment. Maybe we're carrying too much of the mental load and our partner's not, or maybe we're just parenting an extra spicy one, and so we have resentment. And so when we get dysregulated, then that's when you say shit like, you're always bad, you do this to me all the time, you're a little punk ass, I never got away with that shit when I was your age, and now you're putting a bunch of stuff, right? And even then, it's okay, because here's how we're handling generational trauma. Everybody thinks it's in the day to day. Oh, I'm not making my kid finish all the food on their plate. I'm not doing this. No, how we're doing it different is we turn around to our kids and we say, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I lost my shit on you. Yes. I was scary. I was yelling. I'm so sorry. Repair is how we're doing this. Name me a boomer who's got accountability.
Oh my God.
So what's different about them and why people go no contact or to these extreme measures is because you come to 100%. Your parent and say, which you guys are going to come up now, your kids are getting older. When my son was 18, I said, let's have it out, sit down, let's talk about all the things you're pissed off about me. Because I don't want you to have to go to therapy, but if you do, I'll pay for half, because I'm sure half of it was mine. I love that. So I think when we can say, if your kids say to you at 12, 13, now they're going to be like, I don't like this. I know you don't like this, and this is what I have to, you're not going on social media because I know the science, so you can be mad at me about that, right? Yes. So we can have that boundary or whatever it is, but we have to be willing to hear them as they grow and say, you really messed that part up, and say, You're right. And the one thing I keep trying to teach my son is when, little kids, they have a hard time letting something go. And I'm like, okay, the very first thing out of our mouths, I know you didn't mean to knock them over, but you did when you ran. So the very first thing is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And then we say, can I explain what happened? Can I explain what I was going through? Can I explain what was happening for me? So I had to tell my son, when you come at me with something and I'm working on the computer, you're interrupting me. And so that's when I know, and I might be, you never know, because I might be looking at an article about how Minecraft is destroying kids' brains, and you're going to come at me to get some Minecraft dollars. And do you understand? I'm trying to explain why I was reactive, but the first things out of my mouth are, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. And so that's how we're doing it so differently. And so I don't think the point is to be regulated. It's to get to a place. If you feel, how sometimes you get mad at your kid and then you hang on to it and you're slamming things around and you're like, you don't let go of it, then that needs some work because you didn't move in and out of dysregulation. Yes. And when a kid is having a tantrum, people say, oh, they're so dysregulated. That is them trying to regulate their emotions. Mm-hmm. They just are so new at it that they get electrified because you peeled the banana and they wanted to peel it. Yeah. And that is the end of the world. And so the tantrum is them regulating.
Oof. Yeah. And I mean, we all want to be, regulate, to some extent. You don't want to be all
you don't want to
over
lose your shit, but also it's gonna happen.
You're going to, and I think that's a big thing. Yeah. I think you said in one of your reels, you're gonna, and you just said now, you're gonna fuck up. And also your kid, it's not going to be perfect. You're gonna, and that's a part of the process.
I mean, my parents are boomers as well. I am also Gen X. I had a hard time a couple weeks, maybe it was a month ago. I've been solo parenting for about 6 months, and I have two, and lots of things going on. Anyways, I said something really horrible to my daughter in a moment of pure anger. My son was being a shithead, and there was all kinds of things going on. The world was not working, and I still feel bad about it. But I did apologize. But I turned to her and I said, if you ever have kids, you're fucked. And I said that. Because I was so, you have to understand, I was in this moment of I know it's a horrible thing. I told you this, didn't I?
Yeah, I'm not judging them.
No, and I was I'm not going to say it on the podcast, but I'm you know what?
Say it.
It was honest because I felt I was just, and work was tough and life was tough and I was dysregulated. But guess who would have never apologized is, my parents. So I did, honestly, that afternoon I said, honey, I need to talk to you. That I don't mean that. You won't be. I mean, listen, have kids, have kids, I don't care. But
is that one of the worst things you've ever said to them?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, well, I kind of screamed it in her face. I feel bad. And she just looked at me shocked. She's 12, almost 13, so she's kind of I saw her take it in and be it wasn't it was it was deep. And then I felt bad and I cried but then we talked about it. I said sorry. She's Mom, I know this is hard. Dad's not here. It sucks. And I'm it does suck, but I don't want you to take that on. Anyways, but thank you for saying that. And I feel I'm gonna keep trying to be who I am, but also acknowledging when I mess up with them.
Yeah, I think when we talk about, Jackie, you said the balance and the middle ground, everybody talks about balance, but nobody knows what that is. And I think the balance isn't more therapy. I don't think the balance is more books. I think the balance is have some fucking fun. I think I follow The Real Mom. Do you follow her? She's hilarious.
So.
The REEL. She's committed to being a 90s mom.
Okay.
Oh,
and
yes,
she's
her.
And her whole hook, every video is if you're not enjoying motherhood, it's because you're not trolling your kids hard enough. And so she just trolls her kids constantly, but she's having a blast. Yeah. So any mistakes you make, I think we've gotten so far away. Again, Jackie, with the regulated, you're going to sound like a robot if you're trying to be calm all the time. Yeah. And that's where that gentle parenting got so fucked up because people thought gentle meant talking like this all the time and staying really calm and being really gentle. It's not. It's authoritative. It's that middle ground.
It's the middle. Well, and also, what was fucking me up was mine are 4 and 6, so they're still pretty young. Yep. And but when they were 1 and 3, I mean, you being I understand you're feeling that way. I have, I mean, we're spicy Italians. Like, neither one of my kids are like, even if they could understand what I was saying, they wouldn't be like, okay. But especially at 18 months, I'd be like, I know you're, you know, like, it was almost like they're like, don't fucking condescend me. Yes, I'm upset. And it felt weird for me. And it felt, so anyway, I
think that's actually a really big point though. Like, let's just break that down for a second, because I have to read, I don't want to mention names, but because of this book proposal, I have to read some of the giants in the parenting space. Yeah. And there's a particular female doctor that's a giant in the space. And I think
I know who you might be talking about.
She has a lot of scripts that are like, I can see you're frustrated. I would want to throw the ball at mommy's head too. And it's like, and so people are like, fucking doing it like that.
Yeah.
We get lost in the validation because you don't know how to do it and you're trying to copy this woman's script. And so what you want to do is you can validate, be like, oh man, yeah, it sucks. I cut the bananas. I'm not making you another one here. Sorry. Like you can validate the feeling. There's a big difference between stop crying before I give you something to cry about.
Right. Yeah.
Your parents, and I can tell you're really frustrated is like, well, I can see you're pissed off, and that's the way it is.
It's also a lot of words for a very, very
too many words.
Small child.
Your average dog and your average 3-year-old have the same brain development. Think of how you would talk to a dog. Yes, I talk to my dog, but I don't expect them to understand very much except their name and maybe S-I-D, you know? And so I don't want to activate him right now.
I heard him. But yeah, and it's just also like, it's very messy and it's not, you know, and I'm curious what you have to say about when you have two, and mine are 2 years apart. Because when I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and for me, I know people back in the day had like 95 kids and they were doing it and killing it, I guess. I don't know. Timmy also got ran over by a train. Yeah. Nobody knew where he was. Yeah. So like, it's like you said, that was extreme one way, and this is, 2 is enough for me. But it was so overstimulating for me, and I probably have ADHD. Who knows? I'm raw dogging everything. Not everything. I'm raw dogging that. But I was just constantly activated. Yeah. And again, we've got COVID. We've got mom having a psychiatric break when I have a newborn. All these things, but like it was just like nonstop. And I think something that you mentioned, but like the village of like, I wish that I had people that were like, that you helped you walk away, like helped you go for a walk, like help, like just said like, not like you're a fucking monster, right? Which is how you feel. I'm a fucking psycho monster right now, and I can't move because this one's breastfeeding and this one is taking a shit on the carpet. So like, we need more of a village so badly, and I think that's where moms are missing. I really think that.
Well, there's a whole, I've done so much content on Village. I actually have like a 9-hour series on my podcast.
What's it called?
Oh Crap with Jamie.
Okay.
It's my parenting podcast. And then I have Oh Crap Potty Training. Yeah. It's a potty training podcast.
Okay.
The Village came out of, so I just was talking to somebody put in my comments that we have to admit that cultivating a village is a privilege. And I was like, no, it's not. Villages were born, poor people are better at villages than rich people because it's scarcity of resources.
Yes.
And I use this example like, okay, when was the last time you went to a neighbor and said, I'm baking something, I ran out of eggs, can I have a couple of eggs? People would say, I would never. They would think you would feel judged. You would think that person thinks you're unprepared or you didn't shop right or something
Too
like
judgy.
that. We also, again, we're polarized. The Village came with unsolicited opinions. You got your aunties and your mother and everybody telling you. And yes, did they have some bad information? Yes, but we also tossed out the good information. My niece just had a baby and she is not hearing from any of the women in her family that all went through birth and motherhood. She's consulting TikTok. Yeah. She's consulting, and somehow it feels better to consult a mom who's got a pretty aesthetic on Instagram, who has one 18-month-old who's fucking winging it like you. Like, why wouldn't you consult with older moms who have produced good kids, right? And so the Village is a huge problem. Now, of course, during COVID, that was knocked out just by lockdowns. But you're right, because I see moms not having a village, and 99% of my job now is telling people that's normal. I can't fix that. Your kid's 3. What they're doing is normal. And so when I look at, and this is going to vary depending, again, ADHD, whatever you might have, whatever your kids might have. Kids, somehow parents have not gotten the memo. Kids are overstimulating. A 1 and a 3-year-old are going to be a lot, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah.
So now you look at your sensory inputs. This goes in a lockbox all fucking day, because the minute you open this, you let the world into your head.
Yeah.
So that is overstimulating. People who need a TV or music, that's overstimulating, right? Pets are going to add to the equation. So if you, in those years where you feel like you're overstimulated, you got to bring it down, because the one thing you can't change is your kids. And there's no answer to make a 1 and a 3-year-old less stimulating. There really isn't. But you want to quiet all the other sensory inputs, because now you might just be one of those people who needs darkened rooms and, like, you know what I mean? No music, and like, hey, you guys are going to help me wash dishes. That's all we're doing today. We're going to go to the park. It might just be this very slowed down thing. Obviously, that was during COVID, so that was completely screwed up.
Well, yeah. But I mean, we had a couple people, but what I will say is, like, I've gotten better, and I think moms need to be so much better at asking for help. People will, like, they will if you ask, and if they don't,
People like to help.
that sucks. And I've been reaching, because we moved here to California and knew you and in this area, so I've been talking to my neighbors, talking with everything. But
You're really good at that, though.
at villaging, like, that's like what I want to, like, need to do. We have to build more of a community. It's up to us. But I will say, like, sometimes I feel like it would be nice for other people who are not in the thick of it to be a little bit, like, to invite that, like, to see
I think
something.
it's coming. I think we're having a cultural moment. So I think for me, I personify this. 57, my kid is 20. I am I'm 2.5 years post-menopause. I got the gray hair. I got the no progesterone, so I'm not accommodating to anybody. And I want to be a grandmother, but not right this second.
Yeah.
And so I'm always looking to help. But you got to recognize Gen X is still working. The oldest Gen X is only 60, right?
Yeah.
And so, and then we have the boomers. And so we've got a whole generation. And I hate these categorizing, because they're so, they can be so tricky. But a lot of people feel judged by the boomers, and they're the ones who have time. And so there's not a whole lot of people right now, like right in this moment in time, that are going to be that sector. But you have to, what you're talking about is, I call village building to blow off steam. And what happens is people think they're so busy that cultivating a village is more work. We also have this society where I'm keeping my peace, where I'm not, if your political view is different than mine, if you eat meat and I'm vegetarian, like, we expect a village as a whole to be accommodating. The village is difficult. And but what happens is, what you said earlier about go for a walk, when you have another mom to go through it, get the kids together and go feral together, it's somehow more bearable.
Oh, definitely.
So you do have to be overt. And I tell people all the time, nothing is coming to your doorstep anymore. Nothing. The neighborhood play is gone, right? Because of various reasons that we can go into. Neighborhood play is gone.
Not entirely.
It's in pockets, but mostly. But it is because of organized sports, because everybody now has safety issues and they put their kids in organized activities. So I know people who buy houses specifically because of the demographics in the houses, and there's no kids to be seen. So if I had a magic wand, that's what I would bring back immediately.
Because we have some of that in ours, and I'm like,
neighborhood play.
Yeah.
But I forgot where I was going with that.
Shit, sorry.
Neighborhood play, kids. Moms just feel, so one of the things I work on is, like, moms will say, I just feel so needy. And I was like, but you are needy. Like, it's okay to be vulnerable. So nobody wants to be vulnerable. Nobody wants look at now, on Sunday morning, my mom would make a pot of coffee and bake cookies in case someone stopped by. Yeah. Because that's how we did on Sunday. You stopped by. Yeah. You went trolling around and you were like, oh, let's stop at so-and-so's house. And we don't do that anymore, because what if you come in and see my house messy? Everybody has judgment on their mind, even though none of us judge. I never go to a house and check your fucking toilet. I don't care. You got toilet paper? Even then, I wouldn't judge you. Like, I know because you're a busy mom, right? And so we fear this judgment. And people say, I was working with this one mom, and I said, you've got to find somebody in your community at your kid's preschool that you can switch days, you know? She said, oh, people offer all the time, but I feel guilty. I don't want them to think they have to parent my kid.
Yeah, this happens to me a lot.
You feel guilty all the time.
No. See, so we block ourselves. Now, I was a single mom. This is where the nuclear family is anti-village. You thinking that you can do it alone with one other person, or I never had that illusion. I was a single mom from the get-go. There was no lying in for me when postpartum. You came into my house, you got to hold the baby. I wasn't afraid of germs because I couldn't. How could I have possibly done that by myself? So the illusion that the nuclear family creates is crazy. And so now moms feel guilty. And I was like, but we're all crying. Like, invite another mom to do laundry with you. Yeah. Like, that's the easiest chore. I'll make you a cup of coffee. We'll sit and shoot the shit. The kids are feral in the yard, and we can fold laundry.
My mom did that all the time.
Yeah.
She had they had best friends who they would come over and they would like sew together, or they'd they're like, we're gonna paint this room. We're gonna help you fix that fence. Like.
Yes.
But they did it together, and I love that.
Yeah.
I need a buddy when I do stuff, and
you kind of parallel play in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have business cards made up. So when I was 10 months when I moved from San Francisco back to Rhode Island to be closer to family, and I had business cards made up with our picture and our phone number. And like, I'd be at the playground, and I was so aggressive, but I was like, hey, I saw you playing with your kid. I really like your parenting style, which, by the way, who doesn't like to hear that? Yeah. And I was like, I was wondering if we could be like buddies and just come to the park together. And people would be like, oh my God, yeah. And so I'd give them my card, and some people called, some people didn't, but like, you have to do it. And but everybody's sitting here crying in loneliness, but nobody wants to show their vulnerability.
Yes.
And that sometimes they're not your forever friends. They're not going to be your ride or die, but they help you in the moment. They go to Target with you. You get a latte together, and having somebody that you can vent to. Yeah. Instead of trauma dumping on Instagram. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. I started to do like Fridays because the kids get out early on that, and like just like come over to because I live right by the elementary school. So I'm like, just come on over. We'll all hang out. And like, it really, people don't invite people into their homes as much anymore. Like you do. But like, it's like, yeah, come in. They act like, you want, come in. I'm like, yeah, have a cup of coffee. Like, what are you, probably tired? Like,
which
here,
is so weird too, because we're so obsessed with our house and the space and the looking nice. And like,
I'm like, I don't care. Like, it's dirty because we live here. I don't know. I mean, it's and I'm like, go, let them go. We have a fence. They can't get out. Go and play. Yeah. And then that's what we need. They need to run around and play together. Yeah. And I'm not gonna buy a $400 bouncy house to put out there. I've got a trampoline, which is, I know that's a hazard, but we can block it off. But like, I've got things.
It's so weird because it's the biggest hazard and it's the most fun. It's like,
it is.
Like, it's like
yeah. I know, and I never got to have one as a kid, so I'm like, get a damn trampoline. Anyway, but yeah, I really think we need to do more of that. Not be so afraid. I wonder if we're so worried about being judged because boomers are fucking judgmental. They're judgmental.
They are judgmental, but I'm actually doing a whole series coming up, starting tomorrow on this about, I want you to do an experiment and stay offline, right? Delete Instagram just for maybe even a couple of days. Go out in the real world and tell me how much you're judged. Go out in the real world in a day, you feel judged because of social media. Yeah. Because there's so many opinions, everybody is in their heads, you're judging yourself more than anybody. Yeah. I see a kid having a tantrum in the market, I'm like, give me your list. I'll finish shopping for you.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you're very nice. I get dirty looks.
Yeah.
We've gotten dirty looks.
Okay, but
I mean, they do.
Once or
People
twice, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Gotta let it go.
Like that, there's always been a grandmother that's going to tell you you're doing a shitty job. There's always been that woman in the market. That's not changed.
That's true.
And so, but you need to start getting into the real world of who is actually judging you. And I'm not talking about making shit up. I'm talking about people saying something to you, because also people make shit up in their heads. Oh, did you see how she looked at me? No, I don't fucking care how she looked at you. Did she say anything? Then move on.
Yes.
But we're already so judgmental in our head that we're waiting to see it. We're scanning. This is what the polarization of the country did, is we're scanning for what's wrong with you before we're scanning right. We're looking for people that are judging us. We're looking for that. And so I don't, and I think that, before you said that though, there was something else. Oh, I just think that we used to allo parent. So one of the things that neighborhood play did is anybody could yell at the kids. If the kids were being jerks at the friend's house, that mother got to say, get out of my house. No, you're not having any more soda. Now this is happening in schools too. If I came home and told my mother, Mrs. Smith yelled at me, my mother'd say, what'd you do?
Yeah.
Now we say, Mrs. Smith, what? You had the audacity to tell my kid we blame the other parent, but yet then we say, oh my God, I'm parenting all by myself.
Yeah.
We have to allow allo parenting.
Yeah.
And so when you invite the kids over to your house like that, now you're inviting allo parenting.
I invite
You're
it.
making the coffee.
I invite it.
You're going to the bathroom, another mom might yell at your kid because your kid's being a jerk. And when we start doing that, and you know what I mean? But we got hyper individualized in our parenting, in our food choices. We all used to eat Kool-Aid and bologna sandwiches.
Yeah.
Like that was a delicacy if someone's mom fed you that. And now,
It's true, I was jealous.
oh my God, you got the vegan option, you got the meat option, you got the no peanut butter, you got some butter, but my kid can't, that. Like, we got super hyper individualized. So we're all sitting in our little carts, our little Wally carts at the end of the movie, happy as can be, but we're all by ourselves. And so the village is inconvenient. And I really think that allo parenting, it exists everywhere. It's the Italian nonas out on their balcony monitoring what's going on, right?
It's my people.
So, it exists in other cultures, but that's what's happened with us.
Yeah, yeah. I think maybe I just, I've got I will admit, I have frustrations with boomers that goes so past Instagram or social media, but maybe that's my own thing. But I think millennials have a little bit of that.
I mean, that makes sense.
But whatever,
But it's
that's
just like
its
what
own
we
thing.
were saying is we're trying to parent better than our parents. So the pendulum is swinging far.
It's the lack of accountability.
We have to, honestly, though, we have to take, we've really kind of lost, culturally, we've lost the ability to hold two thoughts at once. I may not like the tone in which somebody says something to me about my kid on the street, but I have to take in the information. And I'm like, you know what, my kid is being a little asshole.
Yeah.
Okay? I could do something, and I think we're so sensitive right now. That's what I'm saying. It goes back to the stimulation inputs, right?
Yeah.
You're already judged by social media. Your choice, you already feel on tenterhook about your choices, right?
Yeah.
I know women who are 3 months pregnant who already feel judged in their motherhood and they haven't even made any decisions yet.
Yeah.
So when you're already there, it doesn't take much to push you over the edge, right? And I also think, again, we're not changing the boomers. Yes, sometimes they're rude, but also you can't really honestly feel any shame or judged unless you're questioning it yourself. So I had to sleep train my son at 7 months because he was waking up every 20 minutes and I was so frustrated, I was afraid I'd shake him in the middle of the night. One good shake can fuck up a brain for life. So I never feel judged by the people who are like, you're a sociopath if you sleep trained your kid. I don't feel judged because I own my decision. If you want to, let's hit them all, vaccinate, circumcise, formula, breastfeeding, whatever big fucking topic you want to take, be confident in your choice. And then you will not feel judged. You know, if you're letting your kid have their feelings, and you're going to ride out that tantrum in the market, I say get out of Dodge because you don't want to parent from a place of embarrassment. But you have to own your choice and say, I am allowing my child to have their big feelings and this person doesn't understand. So it's not that we have to get a tougher skin. It's that we need to own our choices. Yeah? And if you've got somebody telling you your kid's going to die because you didn't breastfeed, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know
fuck
what
them.
I mean?
Yeah. You got to filter that. Okay.
But I want us to be more confident. If you made a choice, I honor your choice that you made the decision you needed to make in the moment. Own it. Carry it through. Don't let people... You know, every boomer that says nonsense. I mean, first of all, they watched Archie Bunker. That was that's exactly what it is, you know? And they also didn't have access, and they don't understand the access to information we have. They don't understand that we now know about child development. We now know that spanking, what it does to the brain. We now understand these things. They just can't fathom it.
They didn't. And I think that was something I think I feel a little judged from my dad of they can't believe that I don't well, my mom can, but like that I don't kind of smack them around a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And what they did is definitely abuse by today's standards, but he thought he was, you know, it's a different.
Doctors told them to do that.
Right.
So,
yeah.
we have to look at impact versus information. They just didn't have the information. Now,
Right.
they should. My mother was very willing to hear it. My mother was a boomer, but she was very like, oh my gosh, this is so right. You know what I mean? And so she was willing to hear it, and some of them aren't. But it still doesn't change the fact that we need to have some frustration tolerance with them, which is like, you know, the amount of times in my family I said, I know, I'm doing something different.
Yeah.
And my mother would be like, well, you were fine. No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yes,
you
yes,
didn't pay for my 20 years of therapy, so no.
Yes,
Like,
yes. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, but to
And
your
I
point,
said to her, like, I said, Mom, I'm not coming down on you. That, like, you did the best you could with what you had, and now I have more information.
Yeah. And I mean, so, to your point though, sometimes he'll say things. I mean, I love my parents. I have a very good relationship with them now. But like, he'll say things, and you're not in the best tone. I mean, I have Italian upbringing. I mean, we were saying things to each other all the time.
Sure.
Yelling was how we communicated. People, like, you know. And so, but he would say like, they're not busy enough. You need to put them to work. Why are they just doing, you know, they shouldn't be just, they're in our hair, you know, and you said that on one of your videos, like put them to work. And so it's like, when he said it a certain way, you know, I'm kind of like, well, that's rude. But, and I think you're right. It struck a chord of like, because I think I know they need to do more.
Yeah, they like it too.
They like it. And so my parents started helping me, like, and like teaching them and things like that. So,
But also when you're teaching them, it's not like they're actually getting anything done. You know, you're not getting anything done. You're just taking a knee and being like, okay, let's watch the
first. Yeah,
band,
absolutely.
You know.
And I think it's, you know, but when you get activated like that, I think it's really, and this goes with that pause, right? Is I think it's a really good, quick reflection. Why is he pissing me off? And if you have a good relationship, so I would say that to my mom is I was like, stop talking because your tone is killing me. But I think what you're saying is right. Like, you know, it's almost like try again, like how we tell our kids when they're whining, right? So I did that with my mom because I want to hear what you're saying. Like, I think you're right, but the way you're saying it is pissing me off. And she'd be like, oh, okay. And she'd rephrase it. And so I think if we can get that clarity with the older generation, it does help because they raise us and we're pretty fucking cool.
I want that. Yeah, I want that
are,
information.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, and then the thing of like the village of everybody overbooking, you know, it's like I'm trying to meet my neighbors. I'm like, hey, let's meet at the park, like, you know, after dinner to burn off energy before, you know, before they go to bed, you know. And then it's like, well, you know, Timmy's got, you know, I don't know, like he's got practice at 3, and then he's got ballet at 4, and then he's got this at 5, and it's just, I'm like, all right, can we just, your kids ever just chill and hang?
They can't chill because, well, it's such a problem. It's such a problem, and I've been really vocal about this. Overscheduling is weak-ass parenting. It's because you don't want to deal with the reality in today's day and age is kids chilling mean kids being up your ass to get on the tablet. And parents don't want to be the bad guy. So that is a huge component. And then, I mean, there's various components. People think their kids are behind. They're trying to create a superhuman. But they also, like, parents are tired. And when you can... I saw a mom do a reel. She literally said, yeah, I didn't discipline my kids. I put them in sports. And I said, that's lame. That's lame-ass parenting because you leave it up to somebody else so you can sit in a safe position and get angry or happy with how your kid's being treated on the field or whatever, right? But you're not doing the actual work.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a way we can run from our kids. Look, I'm doing all the things, and I think that some people just love busy as a badge.
Yeah. Jamie, I
wear taking naps like a badge. I'm like, 2 naps today.
I love it.
Yeah.
Jamie, I cannot wait to catch up on your podcast because I feel like the amount of gems you just gave us today, I know that there's a lot more, and I could just listen to
it's a huge unwinding. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Hence a new book because I just feel like we're just overshooting so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's wearing us out. And I also think that like this is where moms have completely sacrificed themselves at the altar of motherhood, and then you're uninteresting. You're uninteresting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, mothering isn't the most interesting parts of us. And I wish we got back to that, like, have friends, have hobbies, leave the house, have more fun in motherhood, and just be authentic. And I just mother's mental health is the biggest predictor of your child's success. So you're not going to get mental health by overworking the problem. You don't need more information. No parent in 2026 needs more information. You've got plenty. You need to know how to use the information you have to suit you and your family.
Question on neurodivergence and like what, and that wasn't a word, and back in the day, like what are your thoughts on it? I'm just curious.
Personally, I hate the term neurodivergent because I feel like, again, it's like nervous system and regulation. It's like protein. It's become code word for so many things. And people use the term without an official diagnosis. So number one, neurodivergence is an umbrella term for over 22 diagnoses, each one of which has a broad spectrum. So when you say, hey, do you have any tips for my neurodivergent kid? You have basically asked me for a needle in a haystack. I don't know your kid. I have never seen the spectrum of ASD present the same in kids. There are these huge markers. We know what ADHD looks like in boys. We now kind of know what it looks like in girls, even though that's not as prevalent. But I think it's become a term because victimhood has been so rewarded on social media. And so if you tell me you have a neurodivergent kid before I've learned their name, stop it. You're using that as an identity. You're using it as a marker, and you're looking for an I can't. And we used to look for I can'ts. Now, whether or not I think there are a lot of environmental factors. In fact, one of the big things is, if you have the MTHR gene combined with heavy metal overload, kids can show autistic symptoms. Princeton just released a study last year about a fourth kind of autism that's completely screen-induced. So,
my God, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think there's a lot of things we can look at, but there's definitely a higher prevalence of diagnoses, and we look at the environmental factors, whether we're better at diagnosing or not. We just didn't see this level, or we were more accepting of various levels of certain things. So I had my 40th high school reunion on Saturday night, and so the valedictorian was there, and I was like, hey, he was the original neurodivergent. Like, the kid he was valedictorian. They ran out of math. He had to go to Brown University to get more math.
Jealous.
And he had a dairy allergy, which was so weird at the time. So it was like, he was like this.
And he had diarrhea, man.
Yeah, like he was like a bundle. But we didn't use those terms. We just knew he was smart. We knew there was a social awkwardness. What about the kids who were punks? Probably they would have oppositional defiance disorder, or probably a learning disability. And we knew that people had variances. We just didn't put, to the detriment. I think, the more services you can get for your child, the better. But yeah, so I feel like there's such a heavy prevalence, and the amount of people come to me with a parenting problem, and they say they think their kid is neurodivergent, and it was a parenting problem.
Yeah.
It wasn't neurodivergence. I think we've lost everything we've talked about this podcast. We've lost villages to explain what's normal. Like the amount of times I have to tell somebody that's not a problem, and we're not fixing 3-year-olds, we're fixing an environment that the 3-year-old is in. 3-year-olds are impulsive. 3-year-olds don't understand.
Right.
They don't have prefrontal cortex. Their executive functioning's not online. So we're not fixing the child. It's up to us to fix the environment to help the child. Right? And so I do feel like, and neurospicy, there are kids inherently that come out of the womb a little more difficult to parent. That doesn't mean it's a diagnosis.
Yeah.
And I did a podcast episode when I dove into temperaments. There are temperaments. This is inherent to your child's DNA. They have a temperament. And there are like different kinds of temperaments. And if it mismatches your temperament, you think something's wrong with your kid. Like there are kids who are more sullen, more, just they kind of carry a flatter affect. That's not a diagnosis. That's a temperament.
Yeah. I was just curious what your thoughts are, and because my husband is diagnosed with ADHD and is very
it's pretty prevalent, and I know it's heavily genetic. And when I say this, when I share my story, it's for any listeners to hear that may be feeling the same thing. I don't mean it to be just about me, but I'm drawing from personal experience, and I'm at a place right now where she's 6, and I'm like, you know, he's more interested in medication and things like that, but I'm not against any of that, but I also feel like there are a lot of behavioral things and parenting things that we can do. We very much monitor screen time, minimize it. We've done that from the beginning. And I think like, I'm like, well, she may not be neurotypical or whatever. But you know, I don't want to make that her thing. You know, kind of like what you're saying.
Sure. I think, you know, when I've talked to experts on neurodivergence, it really is a tipping point. When is it interfering with life? That's when you would go, is it interfering with life? And like, we know that boys are being prescribed medications, but they weren't meant to be sitting in 2nd grade for 6 hours.
Yes.
So, and is it the system we have? So there's like a lot of things, and I'm not against medication either, but I think people are jumping. The other thing is it's really hard. Instagram, like literally I saw, if you sleep like this, you have ADHD. Oh, if you have a song stuck in your head, you have ADHD. Like somebody just posted, here, show me your ADHD note, like in your notes in your phone. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. You know, so people start diagnosing off of Instagram symptoms. And so is it really unbearable? Is your child struggling with this and it's interfering with life? And then there's so many other things. Have you tried, is it moral reflex? So many kids have retained primitive reflexes now. And so I think it's like, but also a diagnosis. I run into 2 people. I run into people who are dying for a diagnosis. They can't wait because it gives them, I'm going to just say the plain words, it gives them an excuse for lame parenting. Yeah. Right? It's like, oh, it's my kid. That's my kid, you know. But then I also find people, there's another people who are so resistant. I'm like, I'm working with you. We've worked together for 4 months. You're doing everything right. And I think now it's time for an evaluation. No, I don't want the label. Like they're highly resistant.
Right.
A diagnosis is a roadmap for how your child's brain and system works. That's all. It's neither a label, nor should it be their identity. It's how am I going to help my child be successful? Oh, I think every child benefits from visuals to help them with their schedule, right? Because they don't have prefrontal cortex and executive functioning online yet. That doesn't mean that they're neurodivergent. Now, if your 10-year-old still can't get their shit together regularly, okay, now we need different systems in place. Yeah. So I think it's just be careful of like, are you seeking a diagnosis because you're looking for information on what I can do, or are you looking for information for what your child can't do? Because I hear both, you know, in the more general zeitgeist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally not interested in doing medication for her right now. I'm in like a learning phase. We'll see if it you know, impacts her, then we'll consider it. But I'm just, you know, I think that is an important answer of like, and we actually had an ABA, like a therapist on as well. And she was like, we also need to look at just the wide scope of what is normal, what is neurotypical, because we tend to think that things that are not. For example, my 4-year-old went through a huge leap and I was just like beside myself. I think
the limbic leap,
which I had never heard of. I did not know that. And I was like, who is this child? She also got sick. We also moved across country away from family, right? Like, but you forget when you're in it, you're like, something is up. I was like, I don't know. She has something is up. And, you know, it turns out, luckily for now, it seemed like just like environmental shift and all this stuff, but she was getting some, not criticism, but notes at preschool, right? Like, and that's what started to make me nervous. I started looking into it. Kids that age are supposed to have like 3 to 4 hours of physical activity, and them being asked to sit in circles and do certain things, that is not that they're a problem child. That is like developmentally kind of not right for them. So because your kid's not doing that, or because your kid needs more sensory input or heavy work or whatever it is, doesn't necessarily mean like they're autistic or whatever. It could just be a number of normal things, maybe at one time. But
that's just something I've learned, and I kind of wish I knew. So I just wanted to share that. And you seem to talk
we have
about
to
it
look
too.
at all the other inputs. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, and then I do, I want to be cognizant of your time. I have I don't know if I have a straightforward poop and potty question, which I feel like we could kind of like circle back to your original kind of work of, I had my 4 and 6-year-old out. I feel like I know what you're going to say, but I had my 4 and 6-year-old out of nighttime pull-ups, and we moved, and I don't know, they're back in nighttime pull-ups. Are you going to say just like take them fucking off? Because I was getting pissed. I was getting pee-soaked bed sheets all the time. But like, do I just... What would you say to a family that had progress? They're older kids now, and now they're a little fucked with potty.
Okay, you want to attend to night training between 3 and 4 because the bladder is being formed. And so if you don't have the holding and consolidating, you do have incidences going up with bedwetting. Bedwetting also can be genetic. There's a genetic component. So if anybody in your family was a bedwetter.
His side.
But you have to, my first question is, there's middle ground between just take them off. Are you night training? Are you limiting fluids before? Are you watching fluids at all? Are you going to help them? Are you going to wake them up before you go to bed? Like, there's things you can do to help the child without just taking it off. Yeah.
Okay.
But when you go through a challenge like moving cross country, or somebody dies, or you whatever, a family, a life challenge, I always think do what's right for you in that moment. Like I don't believe in potty training to the detriment of everybody's mental health. Like I don't think that's
totally. And I didn't. But now I'm kind of like
yeah. But I think at some point 4 and 6 are both really kind of getting. That's too old. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you wanted to touch on or talk about, or do you?
If you got more, I don't mind staying on for a little bit more.
No. I could talk to you all day. I find your work fascinating, and it's been really helpful to have kind of a voice of reason on Instagram, and I feel like your work is much more authentic, and I'm trying to figure it out because I'm like, well, technically you're a voice on Instagram. You're not an influencer first, but you have become one. So I'm like, why? I gravitate toward that, and I really, I think with our audience, what we talk about is nuanced topics of motherhood. We laugh through it, we cry through it. We want to explore the gray areas. So I think for our listeners, like, please check out Jamie and all of her work. Like. Can you tell people where to find you?
Yeah, jamieglowacki.com is my website. Everything's there. And we actually have a really cool online community now. We do 8 Zoom calls a month. It's called Happy Mom. I was trying to find all these clever titles for it, and I said, I just want all the moms to be happy. Let's just get happy.
Yeah.
And then Instagram is jamie.glowacki. YouTube's Oh Crap with Jamie. Yeah, that's it. I don't do TikTok or Facebook or anything like that.
And your books are out there on Amazon, right? Either one.
Yep.
Okay.
And just so you know, the yellow cover is the update. So the blue cover was the original, and then this is the update, the 10th anniversary update. So the yellow is going to be more current.
Recent. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Jamie, thank you so much.
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure having you on. And please follow her. She's the best. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
All
right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Jamie. Bye.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time.
New episodes drop every other Sunday, so be sure to follow and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. If you're loving the show, leave us a review. It helps more than you know. You can listen wherever you get your podcasts and watch full video episodes on Spotify and YouTube. Huge shout out to SCV Studio, all the love to our friends and family, and especially our kids. This truly wouldn't be possible without you. Okay, deep breaths, go be amazing or just fine. And keep bearing it all. We'll see you next time on the Full Mom Tea.
Welcome to the Full Mom Tea.